Welcome back to Ensworth Live. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein. We welcome you to this broadcast of your Ensworth Tigers taking on the Montgomery Bell Academy. Big Red coming over here to Ensworth, and these two teams don't like each other, Nate. There's no other way to put it. Crosstown rivals, and you get to see each other 3 times when it comes to high school baseball, something different than football and basketball. So what does that mean for these two teams moving forward this week?
More opportunities to hit each other in the mouth. And guess what? To your point, Max, there's no love lost. These guys look forward to these games every time because when you have a rival that's just a school, it's not a sport-specific rivalry. It's not somebody who's from a different town that you go, oh, maybe we'll see these guys in the playoffs. And those games are always fun because they're competitive. It's playoff time. This is 3 regular season games back to back to back. This is every single sport in the course of the year. There's bragging rights until you see each other in the next sport or the next game. So this first game, it's important because you want to get it started off on the same foot, but you got to remember, another opportunity tomorrow and on Thursday.
Well, these teams are going to have to definitely stay focused. And it's going to be a different look for Ensworth today. Nate and I have been watching over the past 2 weeks now, and injuries have been a plague for the Tigers so far this baseball season. And now, after Mason Jablonski, who will be in the lineup tonight, I believe that he will be.
Yeah, he's down at third base.
He'll actually be back in the field. The progression has changed since last Tuesday in the loss against JP2. He had his arm deal with some shoulder stuff going into that game. Not going into that game, midway through the game, excuse me.
Yeah,
Came out.
A couple pitches in. That was, it was a scary sight. So it is really awesome to see Jablonski back in the lineup. Obviously, we saw him in the DH role on Thursday.
Yeah.
But to have him not only in the field, but at third base where you know that shoulder's okay because he's going to have to throw across the diamond, it's a great sight for the Tigers.
Well, we have our first at-bat of the game, and like I said, as a result, Dylan Hudson moves up into that 1 slot for the pitching rotation for the Tigers, the sophomore with lots of potential to become a star pitcher, and that's actually all he does. Until a spot opens up for him in the field, he's fine just being that bullpen arm and not even just a starting pitcher for this well-coached Tiger team. You know, Coach Maxwell has a lot of faith in the guy on the mound here today. First pitch is grounded to the right side of the field. This is Swope Fleming for the Big Red leading off. Senior trying to get things going against a struggling Tigers team who needs to put runs on the board early, and that starts by having a good defensive top of the first.
Yeah, you need to take the pressure off Hudson. To your point, Max, he's not always in the number 1 spot for these Tuesday games. But there, it's a great start. Ground ball over to the shortstop. It's Cobb. Makes a nice throw. We've seen him make a couple good plays. That one pretty routine. Well,
Connor Cobb, as a freshman, is almost becoming a sure out when the ball gets to him at short, which is just impressive to see. Great arm strength, great read on the ball. And so the Tigers are working with 1 out now. And this pitch is swung on and popped up, and Cobb will call everybody off and catch this for the 2nd out. So Cobb will get back-to-back outs against MBA. Dylan Hudson keeping his pitch count low. Aiden Conley pops up for out number 2.
MBA coming out very aggressive. We've seen first pitch swings on both batters so far, a foul ball on a pop-up, but only 3 pitches so far for Hudson. NBA's kind of making his life easy here. Not sure if they're being aggressive because of a game plan or if they feel like they're seeing the ball well out of Hudson's hands. But right now it doesn't seem like they can be seeing it that well because it's just a practice for Connor Cobb out in the field.
We'll see what Mark Pyburn brings to the plate for the Big Red. Senior batting 3. In the field, you got Dylan Hudson at pitcher, Dax Bramer at first, Reed Bushman at second, Connor Cobb at short, Mason Jablonski at third. You have Kenny McKinley in left, Devin Obie in center, and you have in right field in right field you have Carson Cobb, right, as Jablonski moves to third, and the designated hitter for Dylan Hudson will be Parker Wainwright. So we got a 2-1 count with 2 outs. NBA trying to look for its first hit of the game here in the top of the first inning.
Pyburn showing a lot more restraint than either Fleming or Conley as he takes ball 3 there, and Hudson lost his lid in the process.
Yeah, he lost his hat in warm-ups too. I'm starting to get that body motion moving so heavily. His hat can't keep up. And Hudson, the offensive lineman and defensive lineman for the Tigers football team, working his way through the top of the first here. And that pitch is well placed right in the left side of the strike zone for strike 2, full count. And Pyburn will have to protect the plate. This pitch is fouled off on to the practice football field, and if you've been listening to the streams that Nate and I call, you'll hear us call out different locations that this campus has that is vulnerable to foul balls, and everybody's got to keep a heads up if you're on campus during game time.
The nature of a space like this, you have just such a beautiful complex with all the different athletic fields, game fields, practice fields bunched in the same area. You're going to have a few stray projectiles going from field to field.
And so the Tigers looking to get a huge win here today. They're going to try to start this game off right. Hudson got the first 2 outs of the inning and walks the third. So Pyburn will be on first for the Kenyon commit, Dustin Lee.
Lee in the DH role today.
Big hitter here. Righty-righty matchup with a runner on first. Hudson's first pitch is swung on and popped up, and Reed Bushman will call everybody off and make the smart play, as Hudson would have had an awkward one. That's a senior-type play from the second baseman, Bushman. Just really did the smart thing there and got the third out of the inning, and now sends it to his bats, which need to get going for the Tigers and is a crucial reason they don't have more wins on their record up to this point this season.
It's a great start for Hudson there. It's about as good as you can hope for. But facing off with Lee, you want to be aggressive, make him swing the bat earlier and early not get a good look at what Hudson's going to be throwing at him. And that's exactly what happened. Gave him something that Lee thought he might be able to hit first pitch, and a harmless pop-off. Great play by Bushman, recognizing he's got a better angle on it. It's way easier for the second baseman to come in towards the mound and handle that ball on flat ground rather than Hudson trying to maneuver and navigate around the top of the mound and hopefully not, but possibly stumble and extend that inning.
Well, Ensworth will try to get the bats going against the verbal Stanford commit Christian Lim, sophomore for MBA, who is working through coming back from an injury. So velo is a little bit down, but you know that if he can have that sort of talent, that he is well-versed up there on the mound. Probably has some great off-speed that he works with.
Pretty impressive stuff that we're seeing just in his warm-up tosses here on the mound. Kind of three-quarter, almost sidearm slot from the left side of the mound. And really good tail on that two-seam that we've seen him throw a couple times. That'll start in on a right-handed hitter, then tail back towards the middle of the plate, or start in the zone and tail off the edge. Or if it's a lefty, back in on their hand. So that's something to keep an eye on. Some solid motion coming out of that slot.
So they will throw 2, and we will get ready for Devin Obie, the senior Duke commit. Will lead off for the Tigers. Up to bat.
Obie will be the first one up.
Devin Obie.
The Duke commit struggling a little bit in the season, just batting .270. We expect to see him bounce back from that any day now. A quiet couple of series, at least here on the home turf against JP2 last week, and struggled in those 2 home games on Tuesday and Thursday. And going to get a pretty good look at the type of competition he'll see when he does graduate and move on to the collegiate game.
Well, Obie here trying to get back to what he had going early on in the season. You know, against Clarksville, we had a 1-game location here where it wasn't a series, and he took the first pitch of his regular season at home all the way dead center, 430 for a home run. Probably not 430, excuse me, more like 400, but really good distance on it. But here he falls behind 0-2 as I don't see any lack of velocity from Lim up on the mound.
Looks good out of Lim's hand. It's got some zip on it. It's getting decked to home plate in a hurry. We'll see if Obi can shorten up and protect here with a 2-strike count.
That pitch will strike out Devin Obi.
Strike 3 pitches, 2 swinging, and then froze him with something a little bit off speed there on the outside edge. We've seen that 2-seamer that comes in on a right-hander and tails back away. That time, that was maybe a curveball or slider that started outside the zone, then came in on the back door.
Well, let's see how the second Duke commit can do up at the plate. He lines this one foul to the right side of the field. Andrew Yu hitting the ball very well this season. And he is just trying to get some early base runners, as sometimes Ensworth doesn't even get hits early in the game, let alone runs.
It's been a slow start in most of the games that we've seen so far this season, Max. And because of that slow start, I've got to think that's starting to wear on their confidence, and those slow starts are turning into slow finishes, which are turning into games where you get shut out. That's never anything that you want to see happen to your team. They need to do something earlier in the game and put a little bit of pressure on their opponents.
And Andrew Yu will ground out to second.
A routine play there. We could have a pitcher's duel on our hands. As Yu sends one pretty straightforward at Pyburn. He handles it with 0 trouble. McKinley now stepping up, batting .243 on the season so far. The left fielder has a pretty big bat. He's got 1 home run on the season. We'll see if he can get anything going. 2 down.
Takes this pitch way outside. And Lim, the lefty pitcher, is going to be facing a right-heavy lineup today at the plate for the Tigers. And sometimes that favors the batters, but I'm sure he faces that a lot at the high school level. And so maybe he's gotten used to working that, as this is another good pitch, 1-1, and he's just staying ahead in these counts. Fell behind 1-0 and comes right back with a strike. And we'll see if that continues all game, because if he can keep himself from going down 2-0, 3-0 all game, that's a recipe for success.
He seems to have a lot of confidence in that cut fastball, that 2-seamer. He's throwing it, not an exact number, but I'm guessing around 85, 90% of the time. He goes to the well there. You saw him get behind in the count, then threw that pitch 2 straight times to McKinley, got him to pop out into foul territory. So 1-2-3 inning for Lim. 0s on the scoreboard.
Well, after 1 inning, it's a 0-0 ball game. We'll be back with Dylan Hudson on the mound shortly. Welcome back to Ensworth Live. I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein. We're set for the top of the second inning, where Ensworth and MBA are all notched up at 0. And we got up to bat Carson Meyer for the Big Red, the right fielder.
Hudson with a pretty good day going so far. Issued 1 walk in the top of the first, but gets things going on the right foot with the first pitch strike called on the outside half.
And both pitchers seemingly throwing lots of first pitch strikes as this pitch is driven out to left field where Kenny McKinley will easily get under it. And another quick out for Hudson, who has been cooking with these first pitches.
Yeah, very efficient with through five batters, just 13 pitches so far. And really about half of those came in that AB to Pyburn. I think that was a 6-7 pitch at bat that eventually ended in a walk, but it's been one or two pitches for each of the outs that he's been able to get. And again, first pitch strike, that's got a lot to do with it.
It does. And that's just one of my, particularly one of my favorite stats to look at. First pitch strike percentage is a huge indicator for me. Sometimes that leads to a lot of hits, but other times you just get in hitters' heads who want to settle in a little bit easier. But up to bat, it's a pitcher-pitcher battle. We got Christian Lim going up against Dylan Hudson, and it's an 0-2 count. Let's see what Hudson's got for the put-away pitch. Oof, just a little high.
That's a good-looking pitch. He put it close enough where Lim at least had to think about it, but that's a great eye from the left-handed batter's box to lay off that one that close.
And this curveball comes right down the middle. What a great pitch there from Hudson. Gets his second out, and the Tigers, I think, are feeling the rhythm that translates from the mound.
They need some sort of rhythm. These past couple weeks have been rough. They're looking to get back on track. They haven't been able to pull out much offensive, none at home really. No runs in that JP2 series on the home turf. But it can start with some momentum on the mound, and Hudson seems to be feeling it, throwing a lot of strikes.
Oh, yeah, he is really, really in a groove. And Nicky Bennett's going to try to take him out of that. And he will foul to the left side. Nicky coming in from left field. His brother Arthur Bennett also plays basketball with him. The Bennett twins won their state championship this year with MBA, beating Brentwood Academy in the state basketball championship. And this one will be barely foul. I thought that one might have been a little close to being fair, although granted it was foul. I just think that Cobb really sold a good nonchalant. That wasn't close.
I think the angle we have out here made it a little tough to see, but Jablonski for sure fielded that outside the third baseline. It's just a matter of when that one or where it bounced over. It looked like it maybe got around the outside half of the bag, but for the most part, that looked like a foul ball.
And well, Bennett will foul backwards, keep the count at 0-2. Excuse me, that was Carson's in right field and Jablonski at third today. And Hudson, see if he goes back to that curveball, 0-2. It's a great pitcher's count. Goes slider away, and that was 2 outside. Good eye from Bennett.
Buried it a little bit, maybe held on to the ball a split second too long, but just not close enough to even tempt Bennett.
So he'll go right back at Bennett and throw a strike that lands foul again. Jablonski just yearning to show off that arm at third.
Yeah, yearning to get one and show coach, like, hey, I'm ready to get back out onto the mound. Hey, see me throw across the diamond, let me go home now.
So Jablonski still standing at third with Hudson as the ace pitcher who had 2 outs and looked like he was going strong, but just let that one go, let it off a little early and hit Bennett straight in the back.
Really squared him up with that one.
Yeah, he did.
No chance for Bennett to get out of the way of that ball. A straight fastball that started inside, stayed inside, and finished in Bennett's back.
That's one reason right there why I'm not out there anymore. Never really favored the idea of getting hit by a pitch. That'll bring up Peyton Phillips, the catcher for the Big Red, with, again, a runner on first with 2 out. This is what happened last inning, and Hudson trying to repeat it by getting the third out here quickly after letting a base runner on. That pitch, strike 1.
Similar rhythm to this inning as there was to the top of the first. 2 quick outs. A man awarded a base. And now an 0-2 count as that one's sent foul.
Yeah, foul off to the left side. And just a lot of foul balls from MBA right now. And that has to do with timing. But they really can't seem to get a good read on Hudson's coming out of the hand there. So he's, again, Hudson working with an 0-2 count really gives a lot of options for you to communicate back up to the mound from the catcher's spot. And another foul back, keep the count at 0-2. And Dylan Hudson's pitch count going up a little bit after these last 2 at-bats.
Next offering will be pitch number 27 through these first 2 innings. But getting close to getting out of this one, a great pitcher's count, 0-2, 2 down, just the man on first. But you really don't need to worry about Bennett too much at this point. Focus on Phillips standing in the batter's box, get that out, and Bennett's a non-factor.
And so Hudson eyeing down the plate and delivers, and another foul back as Bennett took off for the steal with 2 out, and Ensworth will let that go every time.
Yeah, it's mind games, and Hudson just can't let Bennett get into his head like that. He's got to recognize the situation. He's got to realize that, hey, I only need 1 out. It does me no good to focus on this other guy who's buzzing around trying to distract me from my job.
He does check on him. It's one of my big pet peeves is, and it's just a personal thing, but I think that so often the rate of success on checking over on the batter compared to how that changes the rhythm of the pitcher, which didn't change much there as Hudson strikes out Phillips there, but sometimes that can mess guys up. But Hudson gets out of that inning again. No hits for MBA yet, and we will head to the bottom of the second. So what do you think about, Nate, for this lineup against Lim? You can't really let him settle in on the mound because that's what's happened over the last couple starts that starters that Ensworth has faced on this field.
The heart of the lineup's just going to have to step up. I don't know if there's a nicer way to say it. They haven't been doing their jobs. The guys that you expect to be getting these big hits haven't been. And to your point, Max, you can't let Lim get into that sort of rhythm. A kid who's got the talent to be committed to Stanford and getting ready to play some good Pac-12 baseball, you can't let that kid see you multiple times and just be able to figure out how to pick you apart. You need to get in his head early. You need to at least put some sort of blemish on the scoreboard. And honestly, the same was going to go for MBA on the other side, but you're facing a Hudson instead of a Lim, and nothing to take away from Dylan Hudson. He's throwing a great game so far. I think it's more important for Ensworth to get some score on the board where they haven't done so in the past 14 innings, 15 innings, 16. They haven't been able to put up any points at home. They need to be able to do that. It's just impossible.
Yeah, it really is, and especially just having the ERAs and the strikeouts for the opposing pitchers, looking at those stats over the last couple of games. But also, it hurts even more because you just know how talented each and one of these every guys is. I mean, I love all these guys, and they're so tight in this community, and they're well coached with Coach Maxwell. Part of it is just the abnormal year that we're having, and really kind of having a hard time finding a lack of rhythm. Stumbled through some words there, but I think that it's just really interesting as kind of more of an experiment almost to see what's happening here.
So it will be Bramer, Jablonski, and Carson Cobb.
Up to bat,
Connor Cobb will be the fourth batter if somebody can get aboard for the Tigers. Lim had a great bottom of the first, just 6 pitches to get his 3 outs on OBU and McKinley.
And so now here's your best hitter, and here's the best shot you have at getting a no-out base runner. Bramer takes strike 1 high and outside right on that top right corner of the zone. That pitch nearly goes inside to sweep the legs from Bramer, and 1-1 count. Lim and Hudson are putting on a first pitch strike clinic.
Both these guys just pounding the zone, challenging hitters with every pitch. And that one's pretty easy from Bennett. Able to just wrap it up, send it on down to first, no issues there.
Up to bat, number 11, Mason Jablonski.
Jablonski will step into the box now. got a little bit of work, but mostly in foul territory over the past couple innings in the field, trying to get something done on the offensive side. First pitch swinging, tipped that one back into the mitt for strike one.
Speaking of fielding, for NBA, you got Christian Lim on the mound. Behind the plate, you got Peyton Phillips. We'll wait here for pitch 2 of this at-bat, which Jablonski drives to left field. This ball is going way back to the wall, and this gets over the head.
Down.
Yeah, it's dropped. And Jablonski's going to try to stretch this 3. There was a great throw, but Jablonski will stand up at 3 for a triple, and there's the energy. Nate, I want you to write that moment down. I want you to write that moment down because I think that could be the turning point.
Tuesday, April 20th, 2021, 4:55 p.m. Jablonski with a monster triple sends it to one of the deepest parts in the park in left center, 365 to that wall. And it was a good job tracking it down by Bennett. The left fielder just couldn't quite catch up to it. Maybe the ball tips off the edge of his glove, but Jablonski hammered that one. That's a huge moment to take that off Lim.
Cobb swings and misses. He does have one out. Lim has one out to work with, but anything high and into the outfield should score a run on a tag-up situation. Cobb looking to do one better and try to get on base. 0-1 count here. This pitch low and in the dirt, but good job there from Phillips behind the plate to block it. Over at first base, you got Colin Kerrigan. At second, you have Mark Pyburn. At third, you have Arthur Bennett. At short, you have Aiden Conley, and that wraps up the middle infield. 1-1 count, runner on third, 0-0 ball game. Carson Cobb at the plate puts this one down, and if he hadn't slipped, he still will get to first.
And
they're going to say dead ball.
Oh, I think he hit that straight off home plate. Everybody's calling for it. Lim was asking for it. The catcher, Phillips, was asking for it.
They're going to talk about it.
And that ball actually might have gone off Cobb's foot.
Yeah,
that might be why he slipped. He seems to be moving a little gingerly down at first, and it will be that. So that's going to be a foul ball. That brings the count to 1-2. Kind of an awkward situation. Now Cobb is going to have to step back into the box. You can tell he's not moving at 100%, probably still 95%, but a slight hitch in his gait as he makes his way back to grab his bat from his brother.
And he gives a heads-up nod signal to Coach Maxwell saying he's fine to stay in there. I think this is fine. No double play on runner on third, one out. I think you let him hit. You just know the upside here at this at-bat is huge for a really, really good hitter. So 1-2 count. Carson Cobb has to protect the plate here against Lim. One out, runner on third. This pitch back up the middle for a single, and we got a run. We have a run in the bottom of the second.
That is huge for Carson Cobb. He's been out of the lineup. You didn't have him at the beginning of that JP2 series last week. You had him later in the series in kind of a limited role, but it looks like Cobb's going to get checked on even as the Tigers are celebrating that RBI, reaching towards that right leg in the quad area. So we'll see if he's going to be able to continue. At the very least, he gave Ensworth the early lead that this team has so desperately needed for the past week and a half.
I mean, just such a huge RBI from the senior who's going to have to walk it off here. And if he has a pinch runner come in, does that mean he's done for the game? I'm not actually familiar with all the rules here, but as a position player and not a catcher or a pitcher, I'm not sure in terms of his eligibility the rest of this game.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. It will be Hunter Harris, the sophomore, replacing him. We saw Harris in right field during last week's series against JP2, so if it is a defensive substitution as well, Harris is at least comfortable, and that could have been Maxwell's logic in putting Harris in as a pinch runner, giving him that flexibility in case Cobb isn't able to continue this game.
Well, yeah, Harris started the entire season at right field and ended up having that role switched up a little bit, but looks like he'll be on first base. One out. Ensworth just took a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the second. Connor Cobb, the freshman, amazing at pitching, amazing in the field, and honestly a pretty solid bat for the Tigers this season so far, trying to work and add more. It's great to have one run. You want to keep getting them.
Yeah, we'll see if Cobb's younger brother is able to do the same. That pitch, stellar from Lim, starting low and outside, but still in the zone, just tailing out into the dirt. Cobb chased.
Yeah, really impressive there on the mound from Lim. Ones across the board. Ball 2. 2-1 count. Hitters count for Connor Cobb. Runner on first. Double play is on. 2-1 count, excuse me. And another pitch that Connor Cobb heavily whiffs at.
Yeah, good heat from Lim. He's using that fastball well. I think maybe taking advantage of a player or younger player in Connor Cobb, just a freshman getting this varsity experience who in middle school probably didn't see any velo quite like what Lim's throwing out there.
2-2. That pitch low. Ball 3. Full count. Huge at-bat here early on.
And huge to be getting Lim's pitch count up as well.
Yeah.
23 pitches now, 5 pitches this at-bat. Cobb's going to try to protect and extend.
And this pitch is low for ball 4.
So does extend, doesn't need to protect, though. A free base awarded, and not only is that 2 hits and a walk for the Tigers in a time when they need offense bad, but it's 3 consecutive base runners in the order. That's the first time we've seen that in the past couple weeks to get this many guys on base and another man in scoring position now.
And so now the junior Parker Wainwright bench bat comes in and will go through with this check swing.
Yeah, couldn't quite hold up on that one. Might have been a strike regardless, might have been a little high, but Wainwright indecisive on that first pitch.
And this ball goes in the dirt. Not enough for the runners to advance. Great job behind the plate from Phillips.
Good job by Wainwright to signal down to second base and let Harris know that it wasn't getting away from Phillips and that he needs to stay put.
So runners on first and second with 1 out. Ensworth with a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the second against MBA. 2-1 count. And Lim wants a different ball.
Some pitchers can be so particular
I feel
about
like
the
that's,
type of ball. I don't know. I never played serious baseball, but I can't remember, unless you pick up a ball out of like the trash or something, I can't remember ever picking up a ball and going, you know what, I don't want to throw this baseball.
Yeah, I think that's more of a stud pitcher kind of thing.
Maybe. I don't know. Hey, are you saying I was never a stud pitcher in my day?
I don't know. Maybe.
I wasn't. Don't worry.
So now we have this 2-2 count in what could be a huge turning point, honestly, for Parker Wainwright. Struggling with his 6 at-bats so far this season, trying not to strike out here.
And just within this game, put a little bit more pressure on Lim. Don't let him get comfortable with that second out. And good job by Wainwright taking control of the rhythm of this game. Lim's taking too long. Wainwright says, cool, my box, I'll step out.
Yeah, it takes time there. And you saw Lim really was so eager to pitch that he went ahead and did make the pitch anyways.
Look how deep the first baseman's playing. Just lay down a bunt down that right side. Wainwright can leg it out. He's an athlete.
And that's strike 3, but the runners will steal. So now 2 runners in scoring position.
So strike 3 looking to Wainwright. That's his 7th strikeout of the season, but I guess technically you could say that he got the job done, allowing both runners to advance. It's a good double steal put on that 3rd strike. Wainwright just staying put, daring Phillips to make that throw down to second or make that throw down to 3rd and give somebody else a free pass with maybe an extra base.
And now you have a great batter to have 2 runners in scoring position. Reed Bushman got caught up swinging there, checks really a mix between a check swing and a full swing, and that's the same thing that Wainwright did. It was on a high pitch, so Lim definitely liking that up pitch.
Pitched almost the exact same spot, too, just kind of chest level as this one.
And this one might drop down. It's just not going to be deep enough. Wow, the infielders almost ran into each other, but 2 runners will be stranded for Ensworth, who took a 1-0 lead this inning. We'll be back for the top of the 3rd inning. Thank you. Welcome back to Ensworth Live. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein, and your Ensworth Tigers have taken a 1-0 lead after 2 innings. We're ready for the top of the third, where Dylan Hudson is putting in some decent work. Low pitch count. No hits allowed up to this point. Throws strike one here against Colin Kerrigan, the first baseman for the Big Red.
First pitch strikes are the name of the game. Hudson's done a great job. Better job of getting out of trouble when he has given up base runners.
And this pitch is roped to left field, but it'll be foul. Boy, that would have caused some damage if it was fair. And just feels like everything on this field tails super hard.
Yeah, that's what you get when you have guys that are trying to go to the opposite field. You're naturally going to get that tail from a left-handed bat like Kerrigan trying to take it into left field.
And, yeah, for righties, that makes sense why it would work the same way over there in right. But we see that a lot of times where it's very close. And I'm not sure we had too many of those just fair balls this entire season. This pitch is down and in the dirt. First ball, the count, 1-2.
We really haven't seen that many of those that drop in, kind of those bloopers that spin a lot and cause problems for the fielders. It's been kind of a pitchers and fielders park so far this season.
And Hudson with a beautiful breaking ball strikes out Kerrigan there and brings up Arthur Bennett to bat in the last spot for the Big Red. Oh, no, he's being DH for. That's Dustin Lee is hitting for Arthur Bennett.
So we got to the top.
Yeah, we got Slope Fleming up here. Forgot about the DH rule for a little bit. That's
you can DH for anybody in the high school game. So we have the DH Lee batting for the third baseman Bennett, while the pitcher Lim still hits in the 6 hole.
Right.
The Tigers going with a little bit more traditional lineup with Hudson being DH'd for as the pitcher. That's what you expect to see if you're an American League Baseball fan.
And as we expected, Harris is in right field. Meanwhile, Connor Cobb continues his great play from short and picks up another quick out. 2 outs. Hudson continuing his rhythm on the mound. But yeah, Hunter Harris, the sophomore who started the season in right, will be there and most likely take Cobb's spot in the order.
Yeah, it's a bummer to see Cobb go out, especially on a scoring play like that. I got the lone RBI of the game to bring in Jablonski following up that triple. I'm sure he would tell you, if I had to go out, I'm glad that I went out, giving us a lead. And the way Hudson's pitching, that could be a solid way to start this game. Might not need much more.
Well, yeah, Hudson is killing it up there on the mound. 0-1 count. This pitch is fouled away from Conley. Yeah, and really, you hope that Carson is okay, because he just came back after a long pause in the season.
Just his third game, because we missed him in Game 1 of the JP2 series. Then did he come back on the road last Wednesday, or was Thursday
no? It was
his
first one was a pinch hit effort on Thursday. But speaking of great efforts, Dylan Hudson with back-to-back strikeouts, and he's got 3 hitless innings against MBA. We're ready for the bottom of the third, where Ensworth's going to try to keep the bats going. I mean, what has Hudson just done so well on the mound so far today, Nate, that has really made him unhittable?
We've mentioned it before. It's the first pitch strike percentage. He's staying after hitters. He's challenging them to swing at a tough first pitch. He's not just throwing it out there and letting them do whatever they want to. He's taking control of the situation, and he's applying a lot of pressure as soon as the batter steps in the box.
Well, I always know that somebody that comes out there and just pounds the strike zone can really be effective against other teams. But I know that Ensworth really loves to swing at early pitches, so it's kind of an interesting battle as both Lim and Hudson want to throw those first pitch strikes, but I think Ensworth swings at those a little bit more, and maybe that's why you're seeing the early advantage for your Tigers.
Well, I feel like we're actually seeing MBA swing a lot more at them. They're just not swinging missing. They're swinging, putting the ball in play. So far this game off of Hudson, it's been weakly in play. We've seen a lot of ground balls. We've seen some pop flies. But Hudson also has 4 Ks so far. He's got 2 looking, 2 swinging. So he really is mixing it up. The hitters just don't seem to be able to get a good read on him. It could be the fact that it's a bigger body than you're necessarily expecting to see on the mound at the high school level. Maybe it's just an effect of some intimidation or just the way he throws the ball? I know pitchers can do a lot of different things to disguise the pitches they're throwing and throw off a batter. You just don't often see that happening on purpose in the high school game, but it seems like Hudson's doing a great job of it with, to Max's point, just allowing a couple walks, and those are the only stats of note that MBA has been able to pick up. Only 2 base runners on the day. Top of the order for the Tigers. Obi 0 for 1 on the day, struck out looking his first matchup with Lim.
And this is somebody that you just know that can get going and then never stop. You know, this is a guy that can turn his season into, you know, a 250 batting average to a 450 batting average in just a couple of series with the hitting potential he has. And it's just a matter of time, in my opinion.
Well, hopefully that time's now. We got the big moment in Jablonski giving the Tigers a lead here. Obi, hard hit ball. Great play by Maxwell down the third base line in foul territory. And cleanly.
You know, I don't know if you're going to hear your name out there this draft, Coach Maxwell, over there at third base with the quick hands, bare hand. Off the bat of Devin Obi, who definitely put some miles per hour on his hits.
Yeah, it wasn't a softly hit ball. It was a pretty high chopper, but hit hard into the grass. And Maxwell handled it easily as we see Lim switch out his ball again.
Fine dining here for Lim.
Bon appetit. Obi's hoping he serves him one up right here.
Swing and a miss for Devin Obi. Really, really going through it right now.
Yeah, 2 strikeouts on the day for Obi, and you see that average, which was up in the mid-300s, close to 400 at the beginning of that JP2 series last week, just dropping. He's batting 270 going into today. You still batting above 300 or right at 300, although 0 for 1 today, grounded out to second in the first inning. But now with the lead, we'll see if Lim's feeling a little pressure and what you can do to him.
And that's Andrew you, not the viewer you. Can get a little confusing up in here. Not really sure that that's a joke noise, but Andrew you with a 1-0 count. Swings at this one, sends it into the gapper. And a great play from the center fielder to keep this one a single. Really, really good effort there from Swope Fleming.
That's a hard hit ball into the left center gap, and Fleming read it perfectly. That easily could have been a 2-bagger if there's any hesitation or Fleming takes a slightly worse angle at it. But the Tigers seem to be starting to put things together. They strung together a couple base hits last inning with Jablonski and Cobb bringing him home, then got the benefit of a walk with the younger Cobb. But McKinley's going to try to do some damage here with a runner on first, just 1 down.
And we know he can send this ball flying. So Lim really trying to get everything under control on the mound. And this one is hard hit into left field. 365 looking up.
Off the wall. But I think they're going to send him.
This is going to be a play at the plate.
He's hosed.
And it's out.
He
Wow.
is absolutely hosed at home.
That was that a pinch runner for you? That is. Who is pinch running?
Looks like we got Reed Whitman who is in there, and Maxwell wholeheartedly waved him around, trying to get him home, but a great cutoff and finishing throw from Conley at the shortstop position, took that in shallow left and just sent an absolute laser beam and hosed Whitman at the plate. So a little help for Lim, but McKinley will get a double credited to him advancing on the throw, but unfortunately not an RBI, and he'll be at third base.
And this curveball gets away from Lim. So now that puts a lot more pressure on Bramer, who instead of having either a 2-run lead or runners on second and third with 1 out, he will have 2 outs and a runner on third, really putting the pressure on his bat. But this is the guy you do want to hit in this situation because he is seeing it great so far during his campaign this senior year. So a 1-1 count, 2 out. Lim starting to lose a little bit of control on the mound, and this pitch goes in pretty slowly on an off speed, but will hit the zone 1-2, and now a good count for Lim to try to work out of this inning. This one goes behind Bramer's legs. I thought that might have almost hit him, but a 2-2 count.
It looked like it did hit him. And I don't know if he's just trying to play it off because he wants to get an opportunity to hit the ball, but with a 2-2 count, he might get what he asked for.
That pitch high and inside for ball 3. Full count.
That's 2 balls that we've seen to left center. Sorry, I'm still stuck on McKinley's that have just dropped right on the warning track, really giving Bennett some struggles out there and left.
And Bramer strikes out to end the inning, and no run will score. 1-0. Ensworth will strand a runner on third after a tough base running error, I guess you could call it. Just a bang-bang play. Really good throw.
Yeah, I would credit that more to the shortstop Conley than to any base running errors. I like that Maxwell sent Whitman. I like that they're being aggressive on the base path because it is a team that's been struggling to put up runs, and it is a team that needs to just try to jump at every opportunity that they can seize. It's just a better throw from Conley, a really good cut. He got that thing to home plate in a hurry and gave Phillips plenty of time in a good position to make a play.
Well, we will pause shortly and be back for the top of the 4th inning where Hudson will go to work.
Welcome back to Ensworth Live. Nate Stein with you alongside Max Keller. And we're here in the top of the 4th inning. Dylan Hudson having himself a game so far, 4 Ks and 3 innings of work, just thrown 36 pitches. It will be Pyburn, the second baseman for the Big Red, to start things off.
And this pitch goes down the middle for strike 1. No, that's ball 1.
I think that missed just up high for ball 1.
A little flustered. I hear some music. Just want to make sure it's not my music. As you trying not to play music during the at-bats here, but I think this is coming from another event somewhere on the campus.
2-0 count for Pyburn now.
And Pyburn fouls this one back.
Good opportunity for the Tigers in that last inning.
Yeah, McKinley nearly had his second home run, but just wasn't meant to be. And then Reed Whitman caught running at home. And this ball is going to be smacked to center field, where the sure-handed center fielder Devin Obie will get under it for the first out of the inning.
That ball just hanging up a little bit off the bat of Pyburn. He made good contact, tried to send it back up the middle, just got under it with some backspin. That ball floats out to Obie, no issues.
And now is where you circle number 22 for the Big Red, Dustin Lee, the big bat. And this off-speed pitch will go strike down the middle, and Hudson loses his hat again. This is starting to become a signature for him, and something that I really like when you're pitching well. And if you have something that reminds you you're pitching well, maybe it's the hat falling off.
Hey, you know what? Maybe it also distracts the batter a little bit when you have more motion than just the ball coming in there. The hat fluttering down can draw the eye away, maybe confuse the batter a little bit. Some gamesmanship thrown in there.
Well, Lim is taking his time on the mound, and now Hudson with his own techniques, and Connor Cobb. Is there a Golden Glove award in the high school level? Because I'm about ready to give it to Connor.
Maybe there should be. He's been as sure-handed as they come at the shortstop position, and all this for a freshman as well. Supremely talented out in the field in one of the most difficult positions that you can play. He's going to have to cover a lot of ground, and we've seen him cover a lot of ground.
and he's communicating like a senior leader as a freshman. So 2 outs, Meyer up to bat, and Meyer just lost there. Did not see that high breaking ball from Hudson.
Yeah, he had no idea what was coming in there. Really kind of late, awkward swing, just trying to save something, get a piece of it.
And Meyer will lay down the bunt, and this will be foul. And so 0-2, he'll have to swing the bat here. And a really good pitcher's count for Dylan Hudson.
I don't mind the attempted sneak bunt there. Look how deep everybody is playing in the infield. They're waiting for the ball to come to them, and Meyer would have had them completely caught off guard. You would have been the only one able to make that play had it been fair.
So Hudson throws this pitch high and inside for ball one. Woo! Sometimes you get up here and you're ready to go and you're revving the engine and you just don't get the words to come out. But you guys are getting what I'm saying generally. It's just one of the learning, growing pains for play-by-play announcers, as Nate Stein has a lot more experience doing this than I do. 2-2 count, 2 outs, and Hudson has the opportunity to end the inning, and he does it. Woo!
With authority, a heater on the outside edge got Meyer looking. You knew it right away. He was taken off towards the dugout almost before that ball was all the way in his mitt. So another great inning from Hudson. Retired the last 7 batters he's faced now, striking out 4 on the way to that little run. 5 batters struck out total. So the young sophomore doing a pretty good job on the pitcher's mound so far tonight.
Oh, yeah. He's just really working through this MBA lineup, like making easy work out of it. And meanwhile, Ensworth has really been tallying up the hits today, and you just feel like the breakthrough run opportunities are starting to come at a premium for Ensworth. And if that can happen, then wins will start coming, my friend.
Yeah, I'm looking back at kind of through the first couple innings, because obviously you got the run from Jablonski and Cobb bringing him home, but you've only left 2 guys on base, so you are actually making a pretty good chance of your opportunities so far. They're not leaving that many runners on base. They're taking advantage of what few opportunities they have had, and they seem to be figuring out what Lim's trying to throw at them, and they seem to be handling it pretty well. We've seen a lot of balls in play. We've seen a lot of hard hit balls, especially that left center gap. 2 or 3 sent pretty deep out there towards the 365 side.
And so we are ready for the bottom of the 4th inning. Like I said, if you're just tuning in, Ensworth with a 1-0 lead here on this beautiful afternoon for baseball, where Christian Lim, the sophomore Stanford commit from MBA, is going to work against this Ensworth lineup that's starting to see the ball much better today, and they're boosted by their pitching performance from Dylan Hudson. But up to bat now is Mason Jablonski.
Jablonski of the aforementioned triple. That's his 1 at-bat of the day. That thing just a couple feet from leaving the yard over the outstretched hand of Fleming out there in center field. So Jablonski going to try to stay hot here, see if he can recreate the magic that he was able to find in his first at-bat in the 2nd inning.
Well, he is such a vocal leader as a junior on this team. Swings through that breaking ball for strike 1, and Lim gets back to his first pitch strike ways, which I don't think he actually left. I think Ensworth just started hitting it.
Yeah, they started seeing it pretty well. And Jablonski will almost wear one there, but takes a ball on the inside edge pretty close to the spot that got him chasing on the first pitch.
And will not see that one well either. It looks like it was a cutter going back outside, and he'll fall behind 1-2. Lim with a good opportunity to have a bounce-back inning here. And a great strikeout pitch there.
You know that strikeout of Jablonski meant just a little bit more, knowing that he's the only guy who scored in the game. He almost took you to deep left center for a triple. So now we'll get our first look at Hunter Harris actually at the plate. He pinch ran for Carson Cobb after the RBI single, and then was thrown out trying to come home on the Kenny McKinley double.
And Harris did not bat well to start the season off, and he's getting back another opportunity, maybe a fresh look at things behind the plate. Takes that pitch down the middle for strike one.
Time inside, but really reaching back was Lim. Something a little extra on that pitch.
Yeah. 1-1 count. Harris looking. Swings and misses, makes it a 1-2 count. Ensworth leading 1-0 with a really good opportunity to score the second run last inning. Just couldn't get it done. Tough base running and a really good play from the outfield of the Big Red to halt that second run from scoring. And this pitch is swung on by Harris, and he will pop this up over the broadcast booth. Makes a lot of noise back there. And yet we have not been hit.
I really thought that was the one.
By a baseball yet all season, Nate.
I really did think that was going to be the one. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for that telltale thunk above our heads, but did not get it.
And Harris check swings, and they will call him out.
That one's on the pitch. Check swing. Maybe should have tried to throw his bat out there. So he will go down looking. 2 strikeouts on the inning now for Lim. And Connor Cobb will step up and try to get something going for the Tigers. A little 2-out rally. Just some sort of magic here. They were able to get to Lim a couple innings ago, but other than that, he's thrown a pretty clean sheet.
Tigers holding on to a 1-0 lead as Lim throws ball 1 there, and Phillips, the catcher, lets that one go behind him. But other than that, Phillips has stopped a decent amount of advancement on the bases due to his ability to block balls that are low in the dirt behind the plate.
Big swing there from Cobb. You could tell that he saw that pitch and obviously liked it, just couldn't quite track the whole way through.
Yeah, I don't know if that one broke on him more than he thought. Definitely liked what he saw out of the hand of Lim, who has thrown the second strike and broken his previous record for amount of pitches before asking for a new baseball.
What was that one, 5?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a minute. So 1-2 count, 2 outs. Ensworth trying to get a base runner this inning. And Cobb will send this one sky high to second base, which Pyburn will get under and end the inning. And Cobb now awkwardly lands after rounding first base, and now is grimacing at that elbow, and something that the Cobb twins today.
Yeah, you do not want to see that if you're an Ensworth fan, with Carson already having gone down, but Connor doesn't seem to be in too much pain, just handing over his batting gear to the coach and making his way out to shortstop. So we'll see if that comes back to rear its head. We'll have to keep an eye on Cobb over there. We'll get another look at Dylan Hudson. He's through 4 full innings, just walked 2 batters, struck out 5 batters so far, 3 of them looking. So he's pitching pretty well, only thrown 59 pitches too. So the pitch count staying at a reasonable level, pretty low through 4 innings.
Well, I think the biggest thing that I've seen from Hudson today that's been most impressive to me, after watching this team all season long, is he stepped up into that role for Jablonski where he's facing the other team's ace, which, in the MLB level, due to weird scheduling and just like so many games, you don't really always see that after the rest of the season. But in high school, because of the 3-game series, you have enough time to really keep the same rotation every single time. So you're going to be facing the other team's ace. And Hudson has taken it on with stride and looked like a baller out there on the mound.
Yeah, he's looked like this team's ace. It's as good of a pitching performance as we've seen, or as I've seen this season in the few games that I have had the opportunity to do so far. But he's doing a great job. He's being very efficient. He's throwing a lot of first pitch strikes. It's a really great recipe.
And so Hudson throws strike 1 here against Christian Lim, the pitcher.
Yeah, speaking of going against the other team's ace, quite literally facing the other team's ace here, as Lim will pitch and bat.
And this pitch is in the dirt. 4-1. Andrew Yu, the sturdy catcher, who I know is just, he might love baseball more than anybody I know. I mean, he lives and breathes baseball, just the amount of effort and time he puts into it. Just a little bit of a random quick shout out for my good buddy here who's committed to Duke for next season, and just really proud when I saw that commitment happen. And he's just a really solid guy behind the plate for the Tigers, and he's matching up well with Dylan Hudson, him and you and Hudson working well together. So this pitch with 2 strikes is high and outside for ball 2.
Count evens up as Hudson gets ready to go. Not wasting much time between pitches. Pretty steady out there.
And this pitch is checked. That's a pretty impressive foul ball off a check swing. Contact probably would have been pretty good if he had just gone through with that one.
Yeah, he had some range there. He might have stayed late, and that ball might have been foul regardless of whether he finished his swing or not, but I guess we'll never know. We get to debate it on air now.
And Hudson's breaking ball slides outside, bringing it to a full count, but if there's any indication of what this next pitch will do, his hat fell off. Oh, that's bad news for the Big Red.
Something to keep an eye on. Will the hat rule continue? Let's find out. Payoff pitch on the way.
And this pitch again is check swung, as Lim seems to have mastered the check swing foul ball.
Yeah, he's just got that little halfway out stop, and somehow he's getting pretty good distance on that thing. It's not going into play, and probably be a pretty easy play for a fielder if it did go into play, but he's staying alive. He's really making Hudson work this at-bat. Pitch number 8 of the at-bat coming.
And this pitch is just high for ball 4. I really like that location from Hudson, who walks Lim and brings up Nicky Bennett. But now, if you're Hudson, if you're Andrew Yu, what I mean is really you got to communicate to the mound, calm your sophomore down. Mm-hmm. He walked another batter. He's only had walks this game. And now he has the double play on with a talented middle infield, as Connor Cobb is fine, by the way. He's out there at short.
Yeah, third walk of the day. He had previously walked Pyburn back in the first and Bennett in the second.
And this pitch will be thrown away. And the runner will automatically advance for MBA. That was the pinch runner. It looks like Cayman Cook for the Big Red will go to second after Hudson tried to look on to first. And my advice to not check on the runner at first seems to check out there. So now with 0 out, you do have a runner in scoring position. Double play off. This is the most pressure Hudson's felt all game. 0-0 count. Comes back with a pitch in the dirt. Runner's going to run. Andrew Yu with a cannon. Whew! If Jablonski had a bit of a quicker tag, definitely could have gotten Cook frozen, but Jablonski couldn't get the glove down. So now with a runner on third, a 1-0 count, Hudson has to take a deep breath on the mound and prevent this game from getting tied up. Nicky Bennett at the plate. That pitch hits the outside of the strike zone for strike 1-1 count. And the biggest thing that Dylan Hudson cannot lose with a runner in scoring position for the first time this game is that aggressive mindset of throwing strikes early and often. And this pitch is hit into center field. Devin Obie will get under it, but probably not have the ability to make this throw, and the run will score. So MBA ties this game up at 1. Devin Obie gets the first out of the inning, and still not a still hasn't been a run on a hit yet for Dylan Hudson.
Yeah, a sacrifice fly there, and a no-hitter, but no shutout anymore for Hudson. It's something that you really don't see often. It's one of those really rare situations that comes up in kind of weird games like this where you had a walk, then a check over that didn't go as planned, then a pass ball, and all of a sudden you got a guy on third base and a sacrifice opportunity.
Well, Peyton Phillips now has bases cleared with 1 out, down in the count 0-1. 1-1 count after the breaking ball's outside for Dylan Hudson. Well, MBA just really good base running there. Cayman Cook was able to get to second off of the errant check on first and then stole the third base. And now a 2-1 count for Phillips, the catcher. And this pitch also outside. Now a 3-1 count, and Hudson possibly starting to lose that rhythm a little bit.
And still no action in the Ensworth bullpen. I'm a little surprised to see that. I would have expected at least somebody starting to move around and get loose, as Hudson's struggling. 3-1 count with just one down and a run already in this inning.
Yeah, and that pitch count starting to get up there a little bit more as MBA working some walks here, and another walk. And now Phillips will go into first, and we'll just get a mound visit. Hudson's day is almost certainly not done.
Yeah, unless they're going to bring somebody that's already in the game who wouldn't necessarily have time to go over to the bullpen and warm up, I'd be shocked to see somebody come in cold with no movement in the pen.
Especially after Hudson hasn't let up a hit through 5 innings. I mean, we did see JP2 have to take out their pitcher
in the midst of a
no-hitter.
I think that was more just pitch count rather than any trouble. The JP2 was in control of that game, and Lax had 12 strikeouts through 6 innings. I know you and I agree that we both would have liked to see him finish that game, and I'm sure some of the JP2 fans would have felt the same way, but can't complain when you get out with a victory like that.
Yeah. And Hudson will stay in the game here, facing number 20, the first baseman, Colin Kerrigan. Runner on first base, 1 out, double play is on. Hudson goes low and down for, those are just the same word, low and inside for ball 1.
Infield playing pretty deep, or middle infield is.
Yeah.
You have Jablonski kind of creeping in over at third before stepping back. Runner will go. This one lifted out of play, foul.
Yeah, that was a definitely a hit and run situation there.
Trying to put a little bit more pressure on Hudson. Maybe get him to try to throw over one more time, knowing that the man on first is looking to go.
Yeah, that definitely adds a kind of a third source of stress for Hudson.
Tyrell, the pinch runner, over on first.
Phew, that pitch is just high for ball 2. I thought that might have been a good location.
Yeah, we've seen him miss that spot. He's looking for that high outside corner. He's done it 3 or 4 times today. We've seen him hit it a couple times, but then miss in a few big spots like there. Runner going again.
And this pitch is hit to left, and so the runner will have to retreat as McKinley gets under this one for the second out of the inning. So now 2 outs, runner on first. No hit still for MBA. Only run coming from an advanced runner and then a sacrifice fly. And this will bring back up Swope Fleming, top of the order again. Hudson familiar with these guys now.
These guys also familiar with Hudson. Fleming 0 for 2, though, on the day. Grounded out both times to Connor Cobb in the shortstop hole. Both on the first or second pitch of the at-bat as well, I believe. So we'll see what he does here.
Tried to lay down a bunt. And now you're probably going to see the infield adjust and maybe come in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see if, truly only Jablonski can adjust, especially if Kerrigan is going to take a pretty big primary lead as he is. And with some wheels, he's going to be a threat to steal. So that'll hold Bramer on first. But it doesn't look like Jablonski's playing anywhere closer to the grass. And Fleming.
And Andrew Yu has no idea where that ball is. And Fleming's going to go 3. And he will steal from first to third because that ball bounced so high up in the air. I haven't really ever seen a ball bounce off the ground and elevate that much. And Andrew Yu just had no idea where it was, and I wouldn't either.
Some sort of breaking ball and just the combination of spin and maybe bouncing off the plate and the angle that it struck you at, it went so high in the air, to your point, Max, and just kind of floated there, too. It didn't want to come back down.
And NBA with another runner in scoring position, and they still haven't gotten a hit. 1-2 count, tie ball game, 1-1 in the top of the 5th here. Dylan Hudson working through 5. Pitch count kind of going up this inning, allowed 1 run, and now as a runner on third, 2 outs, 1-2 count. This is a big, big pitch here. Oof. I really like that. I really like that location. That's the third time now.
That one a little bit outside, maybe as well as high, but not off by much, and you did his best to try to sell that and frame it back into the zone.
Well, you sold me. So I was ready for that call. This is going to be fouled off from Fleming into the Ensworth dugout.
Hudson's pitch count up at 75 now, so starting to get up there in numbers. I'd be surprised if we saw him back out for the sixth, although still no action in the Ensworth bullpen.
I mean, we saw some opposing pitchers and Ensworth pitchers get up near the 100-pitch mark, so you're not guaranteed if he can get out of this inning at this at-bat. Fleming grounds to third, and Jablonski will throw over, and Bramer cannot field this one cleanly, and now the ball goes all the way. It's just all over the field, and MBA takes a 2-1 lead, and they still don't have a hit. That'll be an error.
Yeah, that's going to be E5 on Jablonski with that throw, just short-hopping Bramer. He never had a chance, and then being able to advance on the throw as it got past him. Another run scores.
And MBA is just moving around the bases in the most bizarre way possible. They're getting around the bases on errant throws around the infield and just sacrifices and just not traditional scoring from the Big Red today, but they do find themselves with a 2-1 lead here in the top of the fifth. And now they lay down a bunt, and this will be the first hit of the day, as that'll be an infield single on the bunt laid down by Aiden Conley. And Hudson, his hat coming off there didn't help him at all. Really couldn't see the ball, and so we'll see if that gets adjusted for his next start. But now with 2 out, we have runners on the hot corners and a really crucial situation where Hudson's trying to get out of this inning, just trying to limit the damage, because you come out of this inning 2-1, Ensworth maybe getting their bullpen ready. It's really not hurting you that much. You still have time. You still have lots of at-bats, at least 9 more. And that just gives you a little more confidence. You let another run come in, and that script changes a little bit. And this pitch is hit on the ground to Connor Cobb, who fields this one cleanly. And, I mean, unbelievable, Nate Stein. Connor Cobb is about as solid as you can get at shortstop. So we will take a quick break and be back for the bottom of the fifth inning. Ensworth now trailing 2-1 after MBA scores 2 there in the top of the fifth.
Welcome back to Ensworth Live. Nate Stein alongside Max Keller. We're here in the bottom of the fifth. The Tigers trail the MBA Big Red by a score of 2-1. Both runs scored in that fifth inning, but just one hit through all of that led to that run, and just one hit allowed in the game with those 2 runs for Daniel Hudson.
Yeah, really just some sloppy play around the fielders for Ensworth, and some good base running, heads-up base running is how I would describe it for NBA. And now they find themselves in a lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning with Lim, who now has some newfound confidence as he doesn't have to be working from the losing position.
Oh, Wainwright facing an 0-2 count now after fouling off the second pitch. Down 2-1, not the end of the world for the Tigers. They haven't been able to put up many runs, but today they seem to be at least getting to Lim a little bit, although Lim's retired now. The past 5 batters he's faced, 4 of them being strikeouts, and that's Wainwright's second strikeout of the day. So that'll bring up Reed Bushman.
Up to bat, number 3.
Bushman.
Reed Bushman.
0 for 1 on the day, lifted a ball into shallow right or left center field, but the shortstop was able to get under that one.
And so here is where I think this whole game is going to change. It's right here with Reed Bushman and Devin Obie. You got one out. Reed Bushman is one of the best nine-hole hitters probably around the league, which is designed by Coach Maxwell to have a guy that he knows can get on base right here. And this pitch will fall in. Reed Bushman finding himself in an 0-2 count, just like Wainwright, is Lim really taking command here. But if he can get on base and then Obie comes up and can start things up, this is where you can do some damage with one out.
Obie will have an opportunity regardless of what happens with Bushman. And Bushman was a little confused there, as that's a called third strike that Phillips then dropped. So Bushman hesitated. Phillips tagged him out number 2. And back-to-back Ks for Lim. And he struck out 5 of the last 6 batters. He's up to 8 Ks on the day now.
Yeah, I mean, Devin Obie has to get him out of his groove here. He's in a really, really rough part of his season so far. Just kind of batting average falling down, but boy, does he have the talent and the work ethic to get right back up. Let's see if he can see the ball well at this at-bat. 1-0 count. This pitch falls in the bottom left corner for strike 1. Really, really good breaking ball mix with his fastball from Lim today.
He's been using that breaking ball a lot this inning especially. Went back to the well there. Obie way out in front.
And I definitely think that's been what's caught my eye. And that's not necessarily swing selection from Obie, but more just timing. This pitch low and in the dirt, 2-2. And 2 outs, MBA up 2-1 after scoring 2 in the top of this inning.
Lim taking his time here.
And Obie swings and misses. 3rd strikeout of the day for Obie. Well, we will be back at the top of the 6th inning. We'll see who takes the mound for the Tigers, who are trailing 2-1 heading into the last 2 innings. Welcome back to Ensworth Live. I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein. MBA now has the 2-1 lead after some errors for Ensworth in the top of the 5th inning. Hudson still working on the mound and honestly has only let up 1 hit. So if he can get right back to what he was doing earlier in the game, which was throwing first pitch strikes and keeping the pitch count low, the pitch count isn't low anymore, but he can probably keep himself in this game for, another inning if he can work here. But now he's facing a dangerous bat of Dustin Lee, who hasn't done anything this game, but can quickly turn one on a dime.
We're a little surprised to see Hudson out here to start the 6th with his pitch count starting to get up, and the way he struggled in the 5th, but got off to a pretty quick start there. 3 pitches, first out, as Lee popped out over to Bramer at first base.
And now Carson Meyer up to bat. So Hudson, pitch count is a little bit up after last innings work, and Meyer again trying to get that bunt down. A couple of NBA guys have really tried to get that down, and it wasn't until Conley laid one down to the left side that they actually got an infield single on it. 1-0 count. This pitch down in the dirt for 2. Ball 2.
83 pitches now thrown for Hudson. We'll keep you updated on that as that number continues to rise, but he's been able to keep this game close, and a big part of why the Tigers are even just down 1 run instead of something that could have been much, much worse.
Yeah, well, now he's in a huge hole here, 3-0. He's going to just have to throw one over the plate here. If I'm Ensworth and I'm the coaching staff and the pitching staff, I'd love for Hudson to be able to finish this inning, and keep kind of his spot on the mound, because then what you can do if you're the Tigers is, if you are down going into the top of the 7th, you can kind of change who you're pitching based on if they're down or if they are up going into that inning. Maybe a closer versus more of just a relief type guy. But 1 out, runner on first. Anything on the ground can be turned for 2. Lim, the pitcher, will be batting, which will tell you a lot about whether or not he's going back into the game. Although I said that last week at JP2, and a lot of these guys can play other positions. Doesn't mean his day is certainly not done, but
I'd be shocked if Lim's day was done. He's only thrown 70 or 75 pitches so far. He's likely only going to have to face a handful more batters, and it seems like, especially right now, he's throwing the ball as well as he has at least all game for this game. He struck out 6 of the last 7 batters he's faced, including striking out the side last inning and retiring 7 straight.
And while you hasn't actually thrown anybody out, I got to give him some credit. He really throws very quickly off of his feet and oftentimes puts it in a very good location. 2-0, and now runner on second after a stolen base and another stolen base. This is just exactly how NBA has scored their first 2 runs, advancing the runner from first to third, not off of any hits, just off of wild pitches and errors.
Yeah, and it's really not doing anything that spectacular. It's taking advantage of Hudson not being really fast from the point where he starts his motion to home plate, and honestly not being as experienced as some other pitchers and losing control every once in a while. It's pass balls, it's wild pitches, it's taking advantage as that one runs way up in on Lim, and I think that hit him. He will head down to first after getting plunked up high in a scary moment, as they're going to check on him before he even gets over there.
Not good initial signals based on the way that his teammates are reacting and the need for a trainer quickly. We will step aside.
We're back here on Ensworth Live. Thankfully, just a short break there as the training staff checked on the NBA pitcher Christian Lim getting hit up high by a pitch. Seems to be okay. I think he's mostly just showing through his helmet and his gloves, just showing some frustration that he's worried he might not be able to get back out here for the bottom of the sixth and finish up his game that he's got going. I think he realizes what we realize, that he's really hitting his stride. So
we do have a
pinch runner and a pitching change.
Yeah.
So the pitching change is going to be Reed Whitman coming in for the Tigers, and the pinch runner for MBA is going to be Cayman Cook,
who scored a run the last time he was pinch running.
Mm-hmm.
Stole second, stole third. And the interesting thing about high school baseball is that if Lim were to come back, because he's a pitcher, he's allowed to have a pinch runner.
Mm-hmm.
If he were to come back and be cleared fully by the trainer and his coaching staff, he can go right back on the mound if he's feeling okay.
Yeah, and I think that's why he was a little frustrated that he had to leave the facility to get checked out, because he understands that a pinch runner is not the end of the world, but he wants to be able to get back out onto the mound. He wants to be able to finish his bid, because I said it a couple times, he's got 9 strikeouts now. 9 strikeouts. 5 or 6 out of the last 7 batters that he's faced. I'm going to do some quick math here, but since the middle of the second inning. Let's take the whole second inning. He's only gotten 3 outs that haven't been strikeouts. Every other out that he's gotten have been strikeouts by Christian Lim. So he's having himself a great night.
We do just hope that he is okay. Reed Whitman warming up on the mound for the Tigers. The sophomore, who is really just a utility guy, impressively can play second, play short, play right field, can pitch a little bit. Definitely something that's impressive to have at a younger age, being able to play all those positions.
So Daniel Hudson's day is over after 5.1 innings, just 1 hit, but 2 runs, only 1 of them earned, since the second run was scored after a Fleming ground ball was thrown away by Jablonski. That would have been an inning-ending ground out, but instead it brought another run home, or set up another run to be brought home.
And some interesting developments over there from the trainer's room. Seems some people on a hustle. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. They sent the coaching staff from MBA back to the dugout, which either means that they told them, hey, be ready for him to go back on the mound, or hey, we're definitely done here. We hope that it was the prior one for Lim's sake.
So Hudson's day, to continue his stats, 5.1 innings pitched, 1 hit.
And there he comes.
2 runs, Max, you caught him sprinting back in. So Lim should be fine. He seems to be moving around well. Just a stinger, and obviously it's always a little bit scary when the head is involved, but Lim seems okay, seems to be moving around just fine there. Yeah,
no guarantees he'll come back onto the mound, but that's a good sign if you're a big Red fan. And this pitch in the dirt from Whitman, and a stolen base easily for the pinch runner Cook. And so now 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out, and MBA with a one-run lead, trying to extend that here with Nicky Bennett at the plate. This pitch low again for Whitman, throws 2 straight balls to start his outing. And this pitch grounded hard to second. Bushman will mistakenly...
No, not a mistake. Got him in a rundown.
But he's going to be safe, which is going to load the bases. That's why I said it was a mistake, is that...
It's a mistake in the sense that you don't get the out, but you can't let that run score.
Yeah.
You're only down 1. You need to save the run.
It's not a mistake by any means, but it's just unfortunate that no out was gained there. And so now with bases loaded, Whitman trying to work his way out of a pickle here.
So reaching on a fielder's choice is Bennett, and the catcher Phillips.
Yeah,
it looks like they're going to pinch hit here.
Yeah, which means Phillips is probably done for the day, I guess. I don't think you – I know you can pinch run for a catcher. I don't think you can pinch hit. and keep him in the game. So I think we got 25 up to bat.
26.
That's going to be Ethan Dallas. Maybe he can play catcher too.
Yeah, or at the very least, they'll have another catcher on their roster to replace Dallas after that.
And another ball thrown by Whitman, who can't seem to find the zone.
Bases juiced, one down, so a double play. Still an option, something on the ground. But Whitman needs to get the ball into the strike zone to get to that point.
And this pitch is swung at and missed by Dallas. And so Whitman can get a little pep in his step after he sees that strike.
See if he can start racking them up a little bit. We're going to need to.
And this pitch is popped into left field where McKinley will get under it and have a chance to make the throw home. Tries to get a two-hop play, and Dax Bramer smartly cuts off the throw home, which wouldn't have gotten there in time, and so Bramer prevents Kamen Cook from being able to advance to third. Smart play from the senior first baseman. However, the sacrifice fly will score another run for MBA, 3-1. And so Whitman will deliver the first pitch of this at-bat, which is hit up the middle, and Obi will throw home, which will be cut off by Bramer, or attempted to be cut off, and now there's a play at third. Whitman throws over, and all kinds of bodies flying all over the place. So now another run scores, 4-1, no out is gained off of the single from Kerrigan, who will be able to advance to second on fielder's kind of choice.
Yes, single advancing a second on the errant, I guess technically cut off by Bramer. That ball just skipped beneath his glove.
That's a weird scoring play.
And then Whitman was able to track it down. Probably an ill-advised throw over to third to try to get the last out of the inning, but a great play by Jablonski to, essentially save another run. If
maybe
not two.
Even
if
two,
if that ball gets away, there's a lot of space in foul territory down the left side.
So now, again, 2 outs, Whitman working, and Swope Fleming tries to lay down a bunt, which is not an awful decision here, as a well-placed bunt could score another run. NBA really taking a grip on this game now, 4-1, scoring 2 runs in back-to-back innings after the Tigers scored their only run of the game in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, Tigers seem to be in control. Hudson was having himself a great day, but just a really awkward, weird series of events that led to the first couple runs for NBA, and then that opened the floodgates this inning. We're getting a somewhat more traditional scoring breakdown this inning, but still a lot of walks and stolen bases and wild pitches, and there's a lot of weird stuff happening that are bringing these runs around. I think that base hit that we just saw from Kerrigan.
And this pitch hits Fleming in the back to load the bases again. Now bringing up Aiden Conley, who had the first RBI and single of this game. Not the first RBI, but the first single of this game, which was an RBI bunt. So now we have a righty-lefty matchup, bases loaded, 2 out. And this could be a huge determinant for whether or not Ensworth can realistically make the comeback a little bit easier. They're trailing by 3, but anything that can score 2 runs here would make Ensworth's job a lot harder.
Yeah, any base hit should score 2 here for NBA. The runners are going on contact with 2 down. Anything that gets anywhere near the wall, I think, could clear the bases.
This pitch hit up the middle and will land. 1 run will score, but nobody's going to be running on Devin Obi. That was just shallow enough, Nate, not to score 2.
Mm-hmm.
But it will be a 5-1 lead as Whitman getting hit up a little bit here off of the mound, and now bases loaded again after the RBI single from Aiden Conley gets his second RBI of the day. And now we bring up Mark Pyburn.
Pyburn, the 9th batter of the inning for NBA. They're looking to bat around. I guess this is them batting around. They can get Lee a second at bat of the inning if Pyburn can get aboard, which would also bring in at least 1 more run.
Whitman starts to Pitch with a ball 1. This pitch swung and fouled back by Fleming, who maybe just hasn't had his best contact today. See, that's Pyburn, not Fleming.
Yeah, Pyburn struggling a little bit today. 0 for 2, but did reach on a walk in the first inning. That was one of those walks that didn't come back to bite the Tigers, unlike some of the more recent ones.
And MBA kind of scoring runs like we saw last Tuesday with JP2, just kind of death by paper cuts, as you say.
Manufacturing them with just little things that on their own don't show up or don't necessarily look good in the scorebook. But NBA, when you put it all together, they've got 5 runs over the past 2 innings with an opportunity to get some more here if Pyburn can't hold on.
So Whitman working. 1-2 count, has the ability to get out of the inning here. He's got to find a good pitch. And Pyburn hits this one into left field. McKinley dives for it, and this will be foul. Pyburn will return to the plate to take his cuts.
And I really like that effort from Kenny McKinley. It's easy to say, oh, that ball's foul, no harm if it touches the ground. But having the realization that, oh, there's 2 outs, my pitcher's in a bind. If I sell out and can even make this play, if I fail, it doesn't matter. Nobody can score. It's a foul ball. But if I make the play, it gets him out of a jam without him having to do as much work.
And so now Whitman forced to execute again. Throws this pitch in which Pyburn just pops up, and Connor Cobb can't bring that one down, and another run will score. It's gonna be a tough call, Nate. What are you gonna call that one?
You know, I think that one goes as a hit.
Yeah, that's what I think.
It's a really awkward play for Cobb to make, reaching across his body
and
with his left hand, with the sun there, into shallow left field. I think that one goes as a hit, and two don't come home.
No, just 1 run on that one.
No, empty spot at third base now. I think 2 came home.
No, I don't think the runner from second got to advance on that play. He was waiting to see the ball. The bases were loaded, and he was waiting to see that ball down,
Gotcha.
and he was waited too long and couldn't go by the time the play at the plate happened. So,
no, Max, that had to be 2 because the bases were loaded. And then a third or fourth man technically got on base with that single, and now there's only 2 guys on base with no more outs added.
I think that the runners were on first and second, and I think
bases were loaded.
No, now they're on second and third. I'm saying after that hit, the runners were on first and second. I think what happened was the runner on second didn't tag up. He left.
But what happened to the runner on first then?
That was the hit.
The bases were loaded.
I don't know.
The bases were loaded. That's 2 runs scored.
So
right
I don't know what the score should be.
It should be 7-1.
That's confusing to me. You're going to have to explain that one to me in between innings.
Yeah, I got you. I already got the drawing in my head of what it's going to be.
Cool. And the wisdom of Nate Stein will pay off, as it is a 7-1 ball game. Not good news for the Tigers, but really, really hefty swing and a miss there from Dustin Lee. And so now a full count and an opportunity for Whitman to get out of the inning once again. Disaster for the Tigers here late. That pitch is ball 4. Bases are loaded again, bringing up Carson Meyer. And we're going to see a mound visit, and you got guys warming up. We could see a pitching substitution if Whitman might not be ready to finish this inning.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody's ready to go over in the bullpen. It looks like the beginnings of a warm-up and stretching routine. I'm trying to see a number through the netting.
And the
I think
glare.
that's Lancaster.
Yeah, would make sense. Lancaster, relief guy for this Tigers bullpen.
It was just a really brutal sixth inning. Hudson looked great, then got into some trouble. Pitch count got high. And it really does feel like Whitman just never able to quite get into a rhythm.
Yeah, well, Dylan Hudson checked over on the runner at first in the top of the fourth inning. And that was Cook, who was pinch running.
Mm-hmm.
Cook got to second off of that errant throw, then stole third.
Fifth inning.
Yeah, fifth inning, excuse me. Stole third, got home on the sac fly.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next runner got walked, stole 2 bases again, maybe off of a wild pitch. And that one,
base and a wild
right?
pitch
That one was the sacrifice bunt from Conley, or it was just an infield single from Conley on a bunt that scored the second run. And then this inning has been more of the same, except this time we've actually seen some.
Yeah, a couple hard
hits,
hit balls, a couple base hits.
It started out the same way, and then Whitman got some hits put up on him, and he's still in the top of the sixth. MBA doing their damage here. 7-1 lead for the Big Red. 0-1 count for Meyer. Meyer pops this one over our heads, and 0-2 count.
So Whitman finally pitching from a place of strength here in this inning, way ahead in the count. If he can just make one more, the Tigers can at least stem the bleeding a little bit.
And what's crazy is that Lim is on deck, and that was this inning where he got hit up high, went to the trainer's office, and we were asking if he was going to come back into pitch, and that question still hasn't been answered.
Yeah, we still believe that he's going to. It looks like he's trying to keep his left shoulder loose over there in the batter's box, doing as many throwing motions as swinging motions to stay warm.
And Whitman's pitch is hit onto the ground. Connor Cobb will try to throw over, and Meyer will be safe for an infield single, and another run will score. NBA leads 8-1, and the bases stay loaded. And boy, Christian Lim up to the plate, and 0-0 pressure environment, and just has the opportunity to really put this one away as the pitcher and the hitter. You love this situation if you're Lim.
8-1 now the score. Whitman just trying to get out of here.
This pitch is a
Just
little
outside.
Ball one. And Lim ready to hit here. This pitch is hit and will awkwardly land for another single, and the run will come home as another run, excuse me, on addition to the first run. And maybe a little bit of a lack of tempo there on recovery for that baseball out in right field.
Yeah, a lack of tempo, and then, honestly, opportune base running from Lee. He took advantage of a situation where they maybe weren't expecting him to be able to come home on a bloop single. But that's 2 RBIs for Lim, helping his own cause tonight.
And this will bring up number 11, Kamen Cook, who will now hit for the first time after pinch running all game. Pitch outside for Whitman, who's really having a hard outing here. He's been throwing strikes, just been getting hit. NBA just seeing the ball well, and that's been the story kind of all season, is Ensworth hasn't walked a ridiculous amount of people. And maybe just his pitch sequence or pitch velocity, but other teams have been hitting Ensworth just a little too well in order for them to stay in these ball games. Pitch high, 2-1 count. Whitman has had an opportunity to get out of this inning for a solid 10 to 15 minutes here.
Yeah, his pitch count's starting to get up there a little bit too. 31 offerings since he's come in this inning.
This pitch outside for ball 3, 3-1 count. Runners on first and second, 2 out. NBA scoring 7 in this inning, up 9-1.
You have to feel for Whitman here. It's obviously a tough outing. You just hope that someone in his shoes, just a sophomore out here throwing, struggling. You just hope that it doesn't shake his confidence, doesn't make him lose any love for the game or any desire to be out there.
And so now, number 26, Ethan Dallas, who was subbed into the game this inning for Peyton Phillips. We still don't know what he's going to do in the field, but he will get to hit again, and this will be it for Whitman. And time for Lancaster to come on with bases loaded and 2 outs. And if you ask Lancaster, he keeps getting put in these tough situations, and that won't help his ERA. But this could be a huge out in the inning, although some with a more pessimistic view might consider this all but over, with MBA scoring 7 in the top of the 6th inning. So Ensworth will only have 2 more inning plate appearances to work with to make up those runs, at least, if Lancaster can get out here cleanly.
Yeah, tall order. Lancaster is going to adopt a bases-loaded situation or inherit a bases-loaded situation. Thankfully, he's only got to get 1 out, and with a new pitcher, that could happen on the first swing. We've seen it happen like that before. But you just hope that you can make some sort of impact and get out of this jam, and give hope that either MBA has had too long of a break and that maybe Lim is a little bit shaky coming out the gate and gives an opportunity for the Tigers to mount a comeback, or at least that he can make a couple good plays and take something into the rest of this series moving forward.
Yeah, well, Lim is getting the arm ready over there. And you just have to know he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder after getting hit up high. You know, had a lot of reaction to that, and then had a 2-run RBI single. And will get to go back on the mound after having an impressive day he's had so far.
Runners are making their way back to their positions on the base path.
Yep, we'll have Ethan Dallas up to bat, who was the 4th or 5th batter of this inning the first time around. Came in the game for Peyton Phillips. And did he have a single or a, what do you have?
Sacrifice fly out to the left fielder.
And that was before all the damage really got going, or that maybe started it.
Yeah, that was one of the first runs of the innings. The inning started with Lee, popped out over to first base at Bramer, and then it was Meyer reaching on the walk, Lim getting hit, and then the fielder's choice for Bennett, then Cook at that point, and then Dallas with the sacrifice fly.
So Lancaster's first pitch will be hit right back up into center field. 1 run will score, and 2 runs will score on the single 2 RBI from Ethan Dallas. And MBA, whew, are they putting up runs this inning? 11-1. After 2 runs score on that single.
A lot of the damage done with 2 outs as well.
This pitch low, Andrew Yu good to block it. 9 runs in 1 inning for NBA, which will be enough to win you most games anyways.
And NBA with their eyes on hitting around a second time. As Kerrigan's up to the plate. And after that, it'll take us back to the top of the order. This started in the 4-hole 2 go rounds ago.
Yeah.
Or 1.5, I guess, at this point.
And you got to think that NBA is just loving it in the dugout.
Oh, yeah.
They love to have 2 at-bats in an inning. And this pitch will be hit to first base, and Dax Bramer will end the inning that felt like a marathon. But NBA leads 11-1 after scoring 9 in the top of the 6th. Nate and I will definitely be taking a break. We'll see you in the bottom of the 6th inning, where Lim will be working again on the mound.
Welcome back to Ensworth Live.
Number 8,
Andrew Yu getting set to kick things off here in the bottom half of the 6th after a monumental 9-run inning from the MBA Big Red in the top half of this one. And it is still Lim out on the mound, so that long break didn't affect him too much. But Yu is hoping to at least get things going on the right track for the Tigers to have any chance at a comeback.
Had some softball players walking along the sidewalk.
Yeah, you hear the shouts of heads up, and you never know quite what's going to happen. We've talked earlier about just the layout of this complex now. There's so many activities happening at the same time. Sometimes you get some stray projectiles, some friendly fire in a worst-case scenario.
So now we have a 2-1 count, 0 out, and the Tigers with a 10-run deficit. Tall order for them with only 2 innings to work with. Andrew Yu fouls this one back and away.
Yeah, and another possibility for friendly fire over there. You have, I think the softball game just wrapped up, so you had a lot of athletes walking up and down this path, and Yu is just trying to pepper something over there.
So count even now for the catcher, Andrew Yu, who hits this one too short, and this will be out number 1 of the inning. Kenny McKinley will come up.
So Yu got a good job extending that last at bat, got a couple good looks, but to no avail. Lim seems to have picked up pretty much right where he's left off. He's now retired 8 straight batters ever since that deep double from Kenny McKinley, in which we had to play at the plate.
That was a huge turning point in the game.
The last hit that the Tigers had, it looked like the Tigers were going to take a 2-0 lead. It looked like Whitman was going to make it from first and score all the way around, but a great throw. We've mentioned it a couple times. Conley at shortstop, a perfect cut, a perfect throw to Phillips at home. And that really turned the momentum. We thought it was going to be it.
I mean, if that ball's out, I think it's a completely different game.
It's a completely different game. I mean, Jablonski, you could argue that it's more momentum for a home run for a triple, but I don't even know if I agree with that. A triple, I feel like, is so rare because you get so fired up about it.
You get so close to your dugout, too. Yeah. You're just right there. I would agree with you there, especially a solo shot. 1 run.
Yeah, it's great, obviously, but a triple, you still have that momentum because you have the reminder, like, oh yeah, he's standing there on third. Right. He did that.
After the home run sinks in and that excitement goes away, you realize that only 1 board went on the run, which MBA did with like 4 different singles that last inning.
At least. Late damage from the Big Red. Lim trying to close things out now, 2-2 count.
Really, really good pitch there from Lim, and collective sigh from the crowd. They thought that was a great one.
The Big Red faithful that are in town, in attendance for this crosstown rivalry, desperately wanted that pitch to be called strike number 3.
And McKinley will foul this one back, which is another heads-up situation for everybody who is just around. Full count for McKinley, 1 down late in this one. Ensworth trailing by 10. McKinley swings and misses. Lim, 2 down.
Another strikeout for Lim.
Up to bat, number 10.
And that's double-digit K numbers for Christian Lim now. 10 strikeouts in 5.2 innings of work. Not the first time the Tigers have fallen victim to a pitching performance like this. Just last week, you had Lax for JP2 put up similar numbers.
And Bramer, barely. I mean, that is just the difference in 2 ball clubs today, where, one ball club that's been a hit today and 1 ball club that hasn't been a hit today. And unfortunately, Ensworth's been on the latter side.
Yeah, and that was a hard hit ball. Bramer got a big piece of that. And actually, that's going to end the game. 10-run deficit anytime after 5 complete innings in high school baseball will finish it off.
Wow. So we are going to end early
your point,
today.
Max, it did really sum that game up, where a really hard hit ball looked like it even took kind of an awkward hop and ran up on Pyburn, but he was able to adjust, make the play, toss over to first base. That'll do it.
And Well, Ensworth loses the first game of the series. They will head to MBA tomorrow and then be back at home on Thursday. NBA takes this one 11-1. We thank you, as always, for tuning in to Ensworth Live. I'm Max Keller alongside Nate Stein. We hope you have a great evening.